here is something that might surprise you. In the listen and choose a response task, many of the answer choices sound reasonable, but only one is correct. Knowing how to identify that one correct answer is what separates low-scoring candidates from high-scoring candidates. The truth is, high-scoring candidates approach this task completely differently. They know exactly what to listen for, and they know how to quickly identify the right answer. They don't guess and they don't panic. They use specific strategies that make this task much easier to handle. We've helped thousands of students prepare this way through our TOEFL packages. They discover how strategic preparation can make a real difference in their results. In this video, you'll learn 9 essential tips you must know to succeed in the listen and choose a response task. You'll also get practice questions so you can try out these strategies right away. If you're ready to stop losing points on this task, keep watching. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to prepare for this task. Let's start with the basics. Understand exactly what the listen and choose a response task is testing. This is important because once you know what the examiners want, you can focus your preparation on the right things. In this task, you'll hear a short question or statement. The topic is usually related to everyday campus or social life. Things like scheduling a meeting, asking about a class, or making plans with someone. Here's something really important to know. The question or statement is only played out loud. It is not written on your screen, so you have to listen carefully. Your job is to choose the response that would make the most sense in that conversation. The examiners are testing whether you can understand both the literal meaning of what was said and the implied meaning. That means sometimes you need to understand not just what the speaker said, but what they really meant. This task rewards candidates who can understand natural English the way it's actually spoken. This includes the tone, the stress, and the intention behind the words. Tip number 2 is critical. Focus completely when the audio plays. You only get to hear the question or statement once. Once it's done, it's done. You cannot replay it. This means that the moment the audio starts, your full attention needs to be on what you're hearing. Therefore, it's important to train yourself to listen actively from the very first word. Now, let's try a practice question so you can put these first 2 tips into action. You'll hear a short statement. Listen carefully and then choose the best response. Write your answer in the comments. A, B, C, or D. You have 15 seconds to do this. Once the time is up, I'll walk you through the correct answer and explain why it's correct.
I can't believe how long the line at the registrar's office is today.
Let's check the correct answer. The correct answer is A. The man is expressing frustration about how crowded the registrar's office is. A natural response to that kind of comment is to acknowledge it and offer a relatable explanation. This is exactly what option A does. Yeah, it's always packed at the start of the semester. It directly addresses what the man said and makes sense as the next thing someone would say in that conversation. Now, let's talk about why the other options are wrong. Option B mentions registering for a class, which is related to the registrar, but it doesn't respond to what the man actually said. Option C gives information about office hours, which isn't relevant to his comment. And option D is completely off topic. Tip number 3 is to understand the question type. Pay attention to whether you heard a question or a statement, because this shapes what kind of response you should be looking for. If you heard a question, the right answer will actually respond to that question. It might give information, confirm something, or explain a situation. If you heard a statement, the right answer will acknowledge what was said in a natural way. It might agree, ask a follow-up question, or react appropriately to the situation. Let's look at an example. Have you heard back from the financial aid office yet? That's a yes-no question. But in natural conversation, people rarely just say yes or no. A realistic response would be something like, not yet, but I am planning to call them this afternoon. That acknowledges the question and provides a natural conversational follow-up. An incorrect option might give information that's related to the topic, but doesn't actually answer what was asked. Knowing what type of response to expect can help you eliminate wrong answers quickly. Tip number 4 is one that many candidates completely overlook. Pay attention to how the speaker says something, not just what they say. Stress and intonation carry a lot of meaning in English. For example, a speaker might say, "I thought the lab was open today." He emphasizes the word thought. This implies something went wrong, maybe the lab turned out to be closed. The stress on thought signals disappointment or surprise. The right response would need to address that implied situation. As you can see, the words alone don't always tell you the full story. The way they're delivered gives you important clues about the speaker's attitude, intention, and situation. Now, here is something important. Many TOEFL candidates think that knowing a few listening tips is enough to get a strong result, but it's not enough. To do well in TOEFL listening, you need to understand what the tasks test and which strategies to use to find the answers quickly. That's exactly what we teach in our TOEFL packages. Our students get step-by-step guidance on how to approach the listening test effectively, so they feel confident and ready on test day. They learn how the listening tasks are designed and what skills they need to find the answers fast. Our TOEFL packages include lessons for all tasks, sample answers, mock tests, templates, and much more. If you want expert guidance for your TOEFL preparation, click the link below to learn more. Tip number 5 is to use the process of elimination. When you're not immediately sure which answer is correct, start by crossing out the ones that are clearly wrong. This narrows down your options and makes the decision much easier. Here are some typical types of wrong answers. Some responses are about the same general topic as the question, but don't actually connect to what was asked. Other responses use words from the audio. They do this to trick you into thinking they're correct when they're actually not. And some responses would make sense in a completely different kind of conversation, but not the one you just heard. Take a look at this example. Do you know where Professor Allen's office is? Here is a wrong answer. I heard he cancelled his class this morning. As you can see, the answer mentions the professor, so it sounds related, but it doesn't answer the question at all. A correct answer would tell you something about where to find the office, or explain that the person doesn't know. When you see an option that seems connected to the topic, but doesn't actually respond to what was asked, eliminate it immediately. Now, let's try another practice question. This one is a little trickier. Pay close attention to not just what the speaker says, but how they say it. Listen carefully, choose the best response, and write your answer in the comments, A, B, C, or D. You have 15 seconds to do this. Once the time is up, I'll walk you through the correct answer and explain why it's correct.
I thought the study group was meeting at 7, not 6.
Let's check the correct answer. The correct answer is C. The woman is expressing that she was given the wrong meeting time, 7 instead of 6. We are looking for an appropriate response. That is, a response that acknowledges the mix-up and takes responsibility for it. This is exactly what option C does. Option A mentions the library study rooms, which is related to studying, but it doesn't address the confusion about the time at all. Option B suggests rescheduling for next week. This goes way beyond what the situation calls for. And option D talks about someone not attending, which isn't relevant to what the woman said. Notice how options A and D both use vocabulary that feels connected to the topic: study rooms and meeting. However, these options don't respond to what the woman meant. Keep your focus on what was actually communicated and to avoid such traps. Tip number 6 is about a specific trick the TOEFL uses: distractor answers. These are wrong answers that are designed to sound correct. If you're not careful, you'll pick one of these and lose points without understanding why. The most common type of distractor uses a word or phrase from the audio. You hear the word assignment in the question, and one of the responses also contains the word assignment, so you think the answer might be correct. But the rest of that response doesn't actually make sense as a reply to what was asked. The word is there to trick you. The TOEFL examiners want to test whether you actually understand the meaning of the response. Here is another type of distractor. This type of distractor gives a response that would be perfectly reasonable in a different conversation, but not this one. The grammar is fine, the vocabulary is natural, but the response just doesn't fit the specific question or statement you heard. To protect yourself from distractors, always go back to what was actually asked. Then check whether the response directly and logically follows from what you just heard. If it doesn't, move on to the next option. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos that you actually want to watch. Now, let's continue with 3 more essential tips for the listen and choose a response task. Tip number 7 is to build your vocabulary around campus life topics. The listen and choose a response task usually focuses on everyday situations you would encounter at a university. This means that the vocabulary is usually campus related. The more comfortable you are with this vocabulary, the easier it will be to understand what you're hearing. Common topics include things like registering for classes, talking to professors or advisors, library resources, or group projects. If you know the vocabulary in these areas, you won't waste time trying to figure out what a word means. You'll understand the question immediately and can focus on finding the right answer. Here are some words and phrases that come up regularly in campus life contexts: office hours, drop period, thesis advisor, and study group. Practicing such vocabulary can make a real difference in how quickly and confidently you handle this task. Tip number 8 is to get familiar with idiomatic and colloquial expressions. Native speakers don't always say exactly what they mean in a literal way. If you don't recognize common expressions, you can easily misunderstand the question and pick the wrong response. For example, the speaker might say, "I'm swamped right now." The speaker doesn't mean they're surrounded by water. They mean they're extremely busy. Here is another example. That class is a piece of cake. The speaker is not talking about food. They mean the class is very easy. These kinds of expressions come up all the time in natural conversation, so you must absolutely know them. Tip number 9 is for those moments when you've listened carefully, but you're still not confident about the answer. This can easily happen, so it's important to have a clear plan for what to do. First, ask yourself what the speaker's main intention was. Were they asking for information, expressing frustration, or making a suggestion? Once you identify the intention, look for the response that addresses it most directly. This can help you rule out wrong answers. If you're still stuck between two answers, look for the one that feels most natural as a conversational reply. Finally, if you have absolutely no idea, don't leave it blank. Always make a choice. Eliminate the options that seem wrong and pick the most reasonable one from what's left. That's it. Those are 9 essential tips for scoring high on the Listen and Choose a Response task in TOEFL Listening. If you want expert guidance for your TOEFL preparation, check out our TOEFL packages using the link below. Our packages include step-by-step guidance, mock tests, templates, and other useful resources to help you feel confident on test day. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their TOEFL score too. See you in the next video!